Hey, good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to our DFY live masterclass for tonight. And I'm going to be doing another recording here tonight. What we're going to do is we're going to do the live masterclass for um, Screencast University. And last night I did the call and actually had the wrong mic turned on. I'm going to have to redo that one. So I'm not sure that might happen before the weekend and before we launch our Warrior Plus videos. Currently, we still have Google Tools available during our launch period. So you can pick that up at the plrshow.com/G tools. And it's the same thing for this this page here. And it is about Notebook LM, at least the front end course. So if you want to teach your customers about that, we went through that in this PLR course. PLR show got the plrshow.com/G tools. And Saturday, we're going to release Warrior Plus Volume 4. And you'll be able to pick that up at the plrshow.com/new. This will be the fourth volume. Not much has changed since I did the first three volumes. And this is going to be a little update. I'm going to go through a few things that they have added. And I may pick this series up again. And what I'm thinking about doing is just really kind of really just going through the whole platform in a lot more order than I did in the first three volumes. We're going to talk about Saturday is uh, uh, affiliate basics. So if you want to launch on Warrior Plus, you want to teach your affiliates how to promote your product, you're able to use these videos in that way. Of course, you can always sell this as a course. We're going to be doing on Saturday, but the main function is how can I teach people uh, how to use Warrior Plus to promote me. That's what I'm going to be doing these set of videos for you in this particular PLR. You'll be able to get that Saturday morning at the plrshow.com/new. And I've increased my bonus for Dan and Dave. That should not say new. That should actually say Dan and Dave. So I'm going to change that, right? And we'll go back to the current slide. So if you have seen our bonus for that, you can go over to the plrshow.com/Dan and Dave, and we've increased the bonus over there. All right, so without further ado, let's talk about screencasting. And you're probably familiar with recording videos where you're recording your steps that you take on screen. And there are a number of reasons why you do this. Of course, one of the best reasons to do this would be to teach your customers, to teach your subscribers, to teach your affiliates in some cases, and really to show people what it is that you're doing and so they can follow you. And so it's a good way of being able to show people exactly what to do by basically taking what would be amount to be a camera, putting it in your shoulder, and then letting that camera see every step you take, and then for somebody to be able to pick up that visual and then take those same steps for you or with you. And that's what basically screencasting is. I mean, you can always screencast a PowerPoint presentation, but in particular, PowerPoint presentations, you can actually do the PowerPoint presentation recording in most programs. So, you know, PowerPoint has its own screen recording or has its own PowerPoint recording. So it's Google Slides. So you can do all those things if you're just going to show slides. But basically, uh, outlining what you're doing on your desktop, you do need to have some kind of screen share program. So we're going to talk about this in light of six marketing principles, and that's to give it context. There are a number of ways that we could go over how screencasting could benefit you. Probably this is not new to you in terms of what screencasting does. So we want to try to focus on what it can do for you and what it can do for you in terms of marketing your business, regardless of what that business is. Let's talk about this keys to screencasting. And again, we're going to do this from a perspective. The perspective is going to be six basic marketing principles that apply to every subject. So regardless of what you're doing, regardless of what you're teaching or learning, If you are an online information creator of some kind, these are six principles that you need to be able to think through in order to make it profitable. You need to be able to answer some of these questions whenever you are undertaking something new. And the first thing that we always look to is, as a creator, as an information product seller, as a business, online business, even offline business, is what our unique selling proposition is. And unique selling proposition basically means that there's something that you're doing that I must come to you to get uniquely, that no one else is doing this in a way that you're doing it. And the only place that I can get it is going to be you. And you make a point of this in your marketing. You tell people this is what we do, and it sets you apart from other places. It's more than a tagline. So it's not necessarily just what you say about yourself, it's the way you do business, and it's typically the way your customer understands how to place you in their brain. So, when they're thinking about how to categorize you, it's how you do business, it's what you're doing that makes you unique, so that when they want a specific kind of experience, they come to you to get it because you're the only place in their brain that provides a service. And you can be in the same category as a lot of people, but you've got one unique aspect of what it is that you sell. One unique aspect, if you're an information product creator, in terms of what you teach, that people have to come to you to get it. So that is what a USP is. And so when we talk about screencasting, whenever you are recording videos, and this is going to be difficult to do until you've done a few courses, until you've done a number of videos, but it is definitely doable and something that you want to do. You want to develop a method and identity. So the way you record is the way you record. And you want to do it the same way all of the time. And you want to develop a style, a strategy, an approach. For example, let's say that you create courses and you do over the shoulder screencast videos. Maybe you will approach that course so that you always approach the left side menu first. And you always go, you always start with your mouse pointer at the top and you go down to the bottom. That just becomes a signature way in which you do screen share videos. Whatever it is, you want to develop a style, you want to develop a strategy, a method, and an identity so that whenever someone sees your videos, whenever someone hears you narrating your videos, that they know it's you. It's got to be you when they hear it because of the way you're going to do it. So that is how you separate yourself. It's a subtle point, it's a little thing, but it's something that you want to do. You also want to make sure that you are doing something with screencasting when it comes to upselling and cross-selling products. And that may seem to be a strange thing to think about. When you're talking about screen recording, how am I going to turn a screen recording into an upsell or a cross sale? But we always have to think this way when we're doing strategic marketing. And so you want to use different platforms in your videos, and you're going to be coming across all kinds of ways to display something. Maybe you're going to use a certain kind of word processor. Maybe you're going to use a certain kind of site to display calendar or time management. You want to use those different platforms in your videos, and you want to focus on the ones that you use personally. So again, that almost ties back to their USP again, because again, those videos are going to be unique because every time you do a video and every time you display a calendar, you're always going to display, let's say, Calendly if that's what you use. And it doesn't mean that your videos are, less relevant because you always use Calendly and everyone else uses another calendar program. It just becomes a signature focus of what you do. So focus on those tools that you use whenever you're recording videos and always use the same ones. And when you do that, here's what's going to be important about, upselling and cross-selling is you want to make sure that you use those and display those that have an affiliate program. Now, what I'm not saying is that you change what it is that you're using so that you only use those that have affiliate links. That's not what I mean. What I'm saying though is that if you've got a choice between one or two, you're going to put one in your video and you're going to choose not to put one in your video. You want to put the one in your videos that has an affiliate link that you can share with the people that are going to be watching. That is how you upsell even while you're recording videos. So when someone is watching a video, and again, I'm returning to this example of a calendar program, and they see that you are talking about Calendly, every video where you're displaying Calendly, you should have what? You should have your affiliate link in it, right? So that's what we're always going to be doing whenever we're doing our screen share videos. Whenever you have an information product of some kind, when the subject comes up and it is relevant, you want to make sure that that information product is in your video and that you refer to it. This is a way for you to be able to upsell even while you're explaining something. So when your customer wants to learn something about an aspect of something that you're teaching in a video, make sure that you mention other products and services that you have that will help them to resource them in order to accomplish the purposes that you're teaching in your screen share video. That's a very important aspect because again, upselling and cross-selling never comes natural. It's not going to be something that will your customer just going to gravitate towards. So they're not going to look for your affiliate link. They're not going to look for your resources. And typically they will go and look for resources on their own. So if you know how to take care of a need they have in a video that you're explaining, you want to make sure that you're sharing that in the video. Now, I'm not saying that you make that the subject of your video. What I am saying is that you make sure it's there, that you make sure you mention it, that you put it in there and make it prominent so that your customer can go watch your video and actually also get a resource where you can generate revenue at the same time. Screencasting is also an important element when you are list building. And it almost might seem that the two don't necessarily go together, but they definitely do. And when you are list building and you're talking about using screencasting, always remember that, when you're putting together opt-in pages, you're putting together bonus pages, you're putting together landing pages, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And you can do some very innovative things with screencasting, even if all you're going to put on a page is going to be an image. So you can use, whether it's Camtasia, whether you can use Guide, you can put a screencast image on a page. You can make it dynamic so that, again, it captures your customer's attention and keeps them there. So what I would suggest that you do whenever you're list building, wherever you're list building, if you're going to have a 3D image, I'm going to say you want to test to make sure that a GIF doesn't work better. And what is a GIF? It basically is a almost like a little video, and it's playing over and over and over again, looping every 3 to 5 seconds, and showing them something and keeping them focused on what is happening. Now, if you put a 3D box there, again, that's going to give your customer a certain perception in their mind. In some cases, depending on who you're selling to, people have trained their brains not to look at 3D boxes because they think, well, you're trying to sell me something. I'm here to learn something. Um, but in some cases, if you place a GIF there where it's just kind of repeating every 3 to 5 seconds, they're watching some actions, that can help you to do better on an opt-in page than sometimes if you've got a 3D box there. So always think to how can you add a GIF to that page? How can you put something that's going to be dynamic on a page where your customers are coming to and they're looking at something and they want to opt in? So if you can put a GIF there, typically one of the best ways of being able to create that GIF is going to be using screen share technology. And this doesn't necessarily have to be AI technology. You can do that very easily with Camtasia. You can do that very easily with, I think it is Loom. Just about every screen share technology will allow you to shoot a video, then take 3 to 5 seconds of that video and turn those 3 to 5 seconds into a GIF that you can download and put on your page. So anytime that you can put a picture on that page, that's going to be worth 1,000 words. Screencasting is very important and very elemental to educational marketing, and you should use it liberally. So if you were creating information products and you were teaching people a subject, if you can use a screen share video where you are showing them something, or better yet, here's a better way to think about that. If You are going to have, if your customer is going to have to go and get something, they're going to have to go through a process. You don't want to just talk them through it using a PowerPoint video slide or using a document file where you're just talking through a point. If what you're really explaining is a process that they're going to have to take their mouse, they're going to have to click on something and actually do, the better thing to do is going to be to record something. So education, when you're showing people something, always try to show the screen share instead of explaining it to them, because typically people are going to get lost if all you do is give them words. And there's a saying that people don't read and people don't listen, and it's very true. But sometimes people are just overwhelmed with text, and sometimes there are language barriers. You can better communicate with just about everybody by doing a demonstration and making that demonstration very simple to understand and doing it. So when you are doing a course, don't cover all the menus. So let's say that you're going to do a course and you're going to be covering some platform. The temptation will be, I'm going to go through every aspect of every menu and I'm going to show people exactly what's in that menu. Well, first of all, even if you were to do something as simple as Microsoft Word, it'd be impossible, right? That course would be, uh, hours, 10, 15 hours long if you did that. And you'd probably lose people's attention span. But apart from that, you need to make sure that you're giving your customers something actionable, something because if it's actionable, they will follow that video, they will go back and do it, and then they will remember what it is that you are teaching them. Don't try to cover all the elements of anything. And so this does require some thinking. It's very easy to approach a subject. Let's say that you're teaching a platform and you're showing people how to do something, to just look to every single menu and every single spot on the page and make sure you cover everything. And some people like to receive those things. They like to receive uh, 80 videos and they feel like they purchased something. They feel like they've gotten their money's worth. They typically are not going to ever use that content. They typically will never ever do anything with it because it's too big and it covers too much and it's too massive. And the other thing is that it's very difficult to get down to an element to title a video if you're covering every aspect of every menu. So don't do that. Don't cover all the menus. Don't cover all the elements and elements in anything. Also, very important, don't show the background. So when you're doing this, if you have to type something in and part of your video is to explain how to go to www.google.com, please do not do this on video. Don't show people that you're typing www.google.com. Please do not do that. Pause the video, do your typing, let the web page load, make sure everything's set, get everything ready, and then hit the pause and turn it back on. Don't show all of that. Because again, what you're doing is you're making the video very long. And all you're doing is, yes, now some people like to see, well, all these videos are 10 minutes long. Well, sometimes the reason the videos are 10 minutes long is because people are showing the background. And you lose people when you do that. So don't show the background. This is very important. Also, AI generation. Don't show people AI generation. And I know that this is a bit different, controversial. I know people like to do this. I don't think it's a good idea that if you're going to go and you're going to show people something you're doing on ChatGPT, that you're showing ChatGPT actually loading, you're showing the text kind of rolling up the screen and kind of giving its answer. And it looks more like action. It does, but it is not good. The experience when somebody has to watch that video a second time is not going to be good. They're not going to remember it. And what they're going to be doing is trying to figure out, okay, where can I skip through this in order to get to the point where I actually see what's being taught. Now, sometimes what will happen is people will watch anything at one time, but they'll never watch it a second time if that's what you're showing people. And you want people to consume your content. You want people to consume it over and over again. And the more of this stuff that you can leave out of that, the better it is. And so the general rule, and I don't have this necessarily in the presentation, is you want to cut the video down till it hurts, right? Cut it till it hurts. I do want to talk about direct response marketing and advertising, and I think that even screencasting fits into this element. And I think it's something that you want to be able to think about. You want to be able to think through this process with direct response. Um, we talked about this before. We talked about showing a GIF. When it comes to direct response, when you show images, the general rule is what you're trying to do is you're trying to communicate to people by making sure that they see the end process. So, and that's why sometimes you'll go to a sales page and you'll see, they'll see somebody, they're really smiling, they're really happy, and you think, boy, how cheesy. What they're trying to do is they're trying to show people in what's called the goal position. So in other words, you want people to see what their life is going to look like once they buy your product. And so if you can do a GIF of that, where you can demonstrate that process, you can demonstrate to them what things are going to look like when they finish what it is you're teaching them, and you can use that as your GIF, that'll work very well in terms of direct response. You want to merge those two concepts together where you are demonstrating to people what they're going to be able to produce and you're showing them the end goal and you're doing it in the form of a GIF that's dynamic and they're watching this over and over on either the opt-in page or on the sales page. It's a great thing to do if you can do it. Not every subject is going to lend itself to that, but you certainly can do it. Affiliate marketing is also one of the elements that screencasting falls into. And it is a fundamental marketing principle. Partnerships and affiliates are marketing alliances. And let's cover this from the standpoint of being an affiliate first. Anytime that you have bonuses, creating a video, a screen share video where you're demonstrating something is typically going to be more valuable than a PowerPoint video. And the rule of thumb generally, or my rule of thumb is typically, if you demonstrate a process, that's going to be probably the equivalent of telling people stuff for I'm going to say six to seven videos. It's probably worth seven videos of telling people things, doing one demonstration. So in some cases, just by doing one video or maybe even two that are screen share over the shoulder, you've almost done a whole entire course where someone's telling people something. So if you want to put together a high quality bonus and you want to use that as an affiliate, typically if you can do a process, you can demonstrate that process using a screen share video, that's a valuable bonus. Outline your process. So before you get started, you can uh, basically teach people a process, right? So make sure people understand, the entire process when you're doing a screen share video. So that doesn't mean that you want to do, as I said, cover all menus and do absolutely everything. You want to make sure that the process is understood. So if you've got to move from, let's say, screen to screen, or you've got to move from site to site, you want to, start from one site, you explain it, you hit pause, you do your typing, move to the next site, turn it back on, record again. So outline your processes, be specific inside of a screen share video. That's a very important element that it is supposed to be short. It's supposed to be to the point, and there should not be a lot of extra talking. So this is not a point in time for you to visit with your customer. It's not a point in time for you to talk about, how you now, you could say that that's your USP, that's your style, and you can do that. But in general, when you're doing a screen share video, it's not for that. The purpose of this is for people to watch it, get the process, get in and get out. They see one process. You want to do it as short as you can. And so if they've got to go back and watch it, they're not going to be intimidated by that. If you can do a 1 to 2 minute video, most people, if they don't get it the first time, they'll go back and watch that video again. I promise you, if you make a 5 to 7 minute video or even a 3 to 5 minute video, no one's going to go back and watch it. They're going to try to guess and see if they can figure it out on their own or go watch it someplace else. The difference between 3 to 5 minutes and 1 to 3 minutes is dramatic in terms of how many times people are going to watch your video. So again, outline your processes and be specific. Let's talk about affiliate marketing as a seller or as a vendor. And one thing that you want to try to do, and this takes work, but it's worth the time. And any business that has done this, and this long before AI, long before, uh, even even the most current iteration of internet marketing, the best businesses train their affiliates. So you don't trust the platform to train your affiliates. So in other words, someone puts a course on a platform. Let's say they do it on ThriveCard, they put it on Warrior Plus, or they put it on JVZoo, they put it on ClickBank, and you want to leave them all the videos that they do in order to figure out how to promote your product. You might tell them something like, well, go and watch the help videos that are on the site. Bad move if you want people to sell for you. If you want people to sell for you, and I understand this takes work. It does. It is worth your time. It's worth your work. Now, in some cases, some people are going to be experienced. They don't need you to do that. But but if you have someone that has an audience, they want to promote for you, but they just don't know your process. They just don't know how to get started. You should be able to walk them through the entire process with the screen share videos, a set of them. Train your affiliates. Make sure there's nothing left to chance. Make sure they know everything. Make sure you've walked through everything with them. Make sure that every little jot and tittle is covered in one little video, right? Train your affiliates. Train them how to use the platform. Train them how to use your processes. So yes, you want them to know how to use the platform, but you want to know how to use that. Want them to know how to use the platform for your product. That's very important. It's something that most people don't take the time to do because it takes a lot of work to do. And in most cases, a marketer will assume that the people that are coming to promote for them are going to be experienced and that they'll do well. There are people who will do extremely well promoting your product if all they've got to do, if you teach them how to overcome some of the tech, you will have helped them. And the way you teach them to overcome that tech is to do screen share videos. Train your partners. And this is really the same concept as training your affiliates. There's some people who come to you and they might partner with you on something, but they don't know all the technical stuff. And maybe you got together with them because they have this audience, because they got a good relationship with people. They shouldn't have to know how to do all this stuff in order to have the work for you, to work with you. You want to make sure that you've outlined every little thing for them. And it's the same process that you would use for affiliates. Also, sometimes when you're training outsourcers, there's a language barrier. And there are cases where, I've seen cases where vendors, sellers will complain about the fact that, they were talking to an outsourcer, that outsourcer didn't understand them. And the outsourcer is they're trying to get it. And typically, you know what, it's always typically going to be, it's really, if an outsourcer doesn't understand your instructions, it's not their fault, it's your fault. And so the way you make it right is to make sure that you document in a screen share video exactly what they're to do. And quite frankly, you need to do that more than you need to talk. Right? So do less talking and more showing. Don't assume your people, whoever they are, customers, partners, outsourcers, don't assume your people understand anything about your process. In order to do some of this, you can do Camtasia. Camtasia, you can obviously record videos. If you know how to use Control F, you can do screen shares, screenshots. So you can stop the video when you're editing. You hit Control F, it'll produce a frame, and that frame can be turned into a PNG file, which you can put into a slide. That's a bit of a process, but that is something that you can do, and you can make it very easily understandable for your customer. Now, there are now in the age of AI, there are sites that will do a lot of this process for you. There's something called tango.us. Now, Tango is not the only site that's like this. There are a lot of them like this. I'm only going to tell you about two, but there are a number of them. Tango.us is one of them. And basically, you are able to capture your process by walking through it. So while you're doing it, it's recording it. Now, it's not going to record a video, It's going to record into a document. Same thing is going to be true with scribehow.com. And all of these things are going to be moderately priced as a recording of this. All these things are going to be someplace in the ballpark of $15 to $30 a month in order for you to do as many of these as you want. Snagit is a, it's made by TechSmith, the same people who do Camtasia. It does some of these things. It doesn't do it the way Tango does, but you can do screenshots. Right now, I'm going to have to guess that eventually they're going to have to upgrade what they're doing to be able to be more like Tango and Scribe, but as of right now, they're not. And the main reason is because Snagit and Camtasia are desktop programs. So they allow you to capture your screen and the web. Tango and ScribeHow only allow you to capture the web. Now, I think what they're doing now is they're also giving you a desktop app, but basically you can only capture you can capture your desktop and the web using Snagit or Camtasia. Now, with all these processes, doesn't matter what it is. Here's the issue: you got to do it in two steps. If you're going to get a video and a document, it's two steps. That's the issue. So that basically means that you can go through your process, create the video, but then you got to give it to somebody to process a document, or you got to give it to somebody to process a PDF. And not only is that inefficient, but that inefficiency is a cost you pay because by the time you finish recording, if you've got to turn that over to someone, you don't have time to do that yourself also. You really do have to turn that process over. And in some cases, just as a ballpark, if you were to take 20 videos and you were to do frame shots in all of them, and you were to go to an outsourcer and you were to say, well, hey, I want you to turn all of these into one slide, per step, you're probably talking about $100 easy just for one course. So it's not necessarily expensive, but it's not cheap either if you do a lot of courses. Now, there's a platform that does both these at the same time. There is one, as of right now, as a recording of this, and it's called Guide. And Guide does these things at the same time. And so, and the Guide is spelled just that way, so I didn't misspell it. It might look like I misspelled it, but I didn't. It is spelled Guide, and you go to guide.com. Now, if you go to Guide, you're going to notice that they're going to give you a free, what they say is a free extension. That extension is going to go in the browser, and Guide is designed to create training material. I think that the use case is primarily corporate, and that a number of people have multi-seat licenses, but it is being made available to solo business owners and solopreneurs and solo creators to create these kinds of materials and these kinds of documents. It is designed for you to capture your flow. So you walk through the process, you turn on Guide to capture it, and basically what the AI does, it creates a storyline. So yes, you're doing the capture, but the AI is doing everything else in the background to produce one document for you with text arranged into an order for you to be able to deliver to people. And this is how Guide looks. You have a browser extension. All you're really going to do is you're just going to click on capture. And while you're walking through specific steps, Guide is going to capture all those steps for you. Right? So it's going to get all those steps into one place. Now, obviously, I'm skipping through a lot of this. I'm not really showing you everything there is to do. There's a video course that will show you how to do that. You really do have to go through that course and see some things in specific because there's no way I can cover all those things. Even to get you up and running in the basics, you really need to go through the course in order to do that and to understand this whole process. Because once you get done, what Guide does is it allows you to export. And so you see I've got export highlighted. This is now, I will say that this is also a paid version. Now you can't do this with a free version. You do have to have the paid version. And once again, I would suggest that you understand what the paid version does before you invest in it. And that's another good reason for you to make sure that you've done the course in order to see what it does before you first either dismiss it because you don't want to pay, or if you decide, well, I'd like to pay, but I want to make sure I understand what it does. Those are two good reasons to make sure that you do the course first. Um, Now, here's where the AI gets interesting. Once you've done a recording, if you look there on the left side, the AI will first produce a transcript, and you can have an AI voice read the transcript. Now, what I will say is that the AI looks like a transcript. So it sounds like an AI is reading it. So uh, so you don't really have anything that is going to be, I would say, free of that kind of robotic voice. But I think they're working on it, and maybe by the time that you're seeing this, the guide will have updated the voices. Now, here's what I will say about even the robotic voice: they're good enough. So they're definitely good enough for you to be able to present to a customer. So they're not perfect. I'd say that the only thing I've heard better is maybe 11 Labs, but they're good enough. And the facility works such that you could record on 11 Labs. You can upload 11 Labs right here because you get the transcript along with every scene. And you'll see that transcript there. Now, that transcript that um, you're looking at, if you look at the arrow there, that was narrated, and so the AI turned those words into that transcript that sits here. And so I can take those words, I can turn that in over to um, those robot voices, and they will turn that into a text. And that's how the AI actually does some of the work for you. This is going to be time specific. So maybe by the time you see this, this is if you're billed annually, and it's definitely going to be more than that if you build monthly. If you click on that other tab, it's going to be billed monthly. And this is what it amounts to. I think there's some cases where if you're looking to get started, there are people who have a link where if you go through someone's referral link, I think you get the first 3 months at 30% off or something like that. So you definitely want to find someone with a referral link that already has one, and then you can get access to the if you're going to try it at all. Okay, any questions? Any questions? Any questions about screen sharing or any questions about guide? Any questions? Any questions? Well, once again, everybody, you can get our new bonus at theplrshow.com. And once again, that's wrong. I placed that there wrong. I'm gonna go ahead and correct that here right away. Um, if you're gonna get this, you can get this at theplrshow.com/Dan and Dave. Right? And as I said to you in my comments, I trust myself to teach you this subject. Not that I don't trust Dan and Dave, but if you're going to do this, then I'm willing to give you personal use rights of courses that I've done because I want you to know my perspective on this too. So, I'm happy if you get Dan and Dave. They've been around for a long time. They certainly know what they're doing, but I definitely think, I trust myself to teach this to you also. Right. And there's a course that Ultimate Insiders have that not everybody has, right? So, an Ultimate Insiders join, they get PLR rights to two courses that I've done called PLR Boss and 1 Hour Product. And that's where I teach some of these things. And so what I'm doing here is I'm basically giving you personal use rights to those courses when you get Dan and Dave's product. And that's like having me teach you. And so you'll have my perspective on product creation also. Now, my friend Alice, I've known Alice probably for quite a bit of time. Alice is one of the few people that when we first got started, I went to, and it's ironic, I'm talking about, I hope we're all praying for the people in North Carolina. I'm in Alice, North Carolina at a warrior event long time ago. And I was really green, didn't really know what I was doing. And Alice was probably one of the few people that actually talked to me, took me seriously, right? Sat down, talked to me. got to know me, and I really appreciated that ever since then. That was a lot of years ago, but since then, she's doing something that has nothing to do with this product that she's doing tomorrow. By the way, um, it's a she's doing something on mindset, and I think there are going to be 10 courses inside of there. So I'm going to put together a bonus for that course. I've started putting that bonus together. Depending on when you see that, you can go to that page and you can check that page all the way up until tomorrow when it launches at 9. And I probably won't get back out to promote it formally until our evening newsletter at 6. So, but if you're watching this, you want to get to it early. Maybe she's got some pricing she's going to be doing. You can get that at the plrshow.com/Alice S. And our friends Vikram at Fire Launchers, they're doing something on keto dieting, and I'm going to get a copy of this, I think, myself. And these are recipes. We're always looking for these keto recipes. So I'm going to get that for myself. And I think I talked about this last night. This is Justin, our friend Justin from Tools for Motivation. They've got new PLR out there, and they've got it priced a little differently than they normally do. It's at the plrshow.com/Justin P. DIR. Okay. So any other questions? Any questions? Any questions about anything that we're doing? Once again, Warrior Plus Volume 4 on Saturday coming up. So we hope to see you in that course. Other than that, thank you. Now, these things work a lot better when people are here. And I appreciate you all coming out because it's a lot easier to have energy to do these things when there are people here, right? And when there's nobody here, um, there's so much. I make so many mistakes, and it takes me forever to have to edit the thing because there's no energy. It's hard to get energy when there's nobody there. So I like inviting people, even though, I mean, technically, you're seeing something that people are going to get edited, they're going to be using on themselves. But we definitely basically just did a sales presentation for you. You can use my format and do just about anything with it if you're going to be using a sales presentation. With that, thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate you all being here. Appreciate you in general. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow.